Oscar Guy here. I'm here with my last predictions video for the month of October 2023. I know it's a long time coming, but this is the last one. This is all the tech categories. I'm going to be doing this one probably quicker than usual just because I don't really have a lot of time to edit my videos right now. I'm going through a lot of crazy stuff in my career and personal life. Man, it's like, okay, redo that one. Probably going to make this one a little quicker than the other ones just because I got a lot of things going on. I've been putting this one off. It's almost the end of the month. It practically is the end of the month. By the time you watch this video, it's probably but the end of the month is probably gone. So, without further ado, let's just get into the tech category, starting with, ladies and gentlemen, animated feature, easy category. Across the Spider-Verse is winning this one. So some people are saying The Boy and the Heron might surprise, but I really doubt it. Across the Spider-Verse, yes, it has since fizzled out since it premiered earlier this year at the beginning of the summer. It's still an incredible film. It is the animation achievement of the year, perhaps even since Into the Spider-Verse, and before then, who knows what that was. Look, man, it's easily taking this. If it's anything else, and yes, even The Boy and the Heron, I'll be very surprised. And speaking of The Boy and the Heron, Boy and the Heron's making a killing. It got third place at TIFF, which is huge because it's the first animated film to ever do that. Miyazaki's getting a lot of love. He's coming out of retirement. People really love the movie. Some people say it's not quite his best, but it's really good. Some people are saying it's a little muddled. It's a lot going on. Very dense film, but beautiful nonetheless. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be in. It's going to be in. It's been a very long time since a Miyazaki film has made it into this category. I think this is the one. I still have Elemental in. Elemental was the surprise, I guess, Pixar hit this year. It kind of came out and had a kind of a lukewarm reception, and then it started getting word of mouth, and then it made back its money, and it's a surprise. Some people are a little mixed on it still, and are even doubting it, but Pixar's track record you cannot deny, so it's got to be in. I think it's got to be in. Along with Wish, which is the other Disney animated film this year. Looks fine. Sure, I think it can get a nomination just because of Disney's track record, and who knows, it might be above average. We'll just have to see. So I do have that in at number 4. Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, I've heard mixed things on, surprisingly, but this studio, whatever studio does these claymation films, they typically make it into this category like a lot. So I do have that in at number 5. And then below the line, I have Nimona, outside shot, TMNT, outside shot. Suzume, I really don't even know why that's in my top 10. I don't think that really has any shot. If there's any, I mean, all of the anime love is going to The Boy and the Heron this year, and Suzume kind of came out and people really liked it, and then it kind of just dissipated. And no Makoto Shinkai film has been nominated as well. So as far as I know. So I don't know. That might be out of my predictions videos from here on out. Maybe at number 10 or number 11 or something like that. I'm not sure, but very outside shot for that. The Peasants, not hearing a lot about that one, but I do hear it's very solid, so that is a new addition to this list. Super Mario Brothers movie, I don't think is going to happen. That really should be even lower. And Robot Dreams, I've actually been hearing really good things about that, and I think that might be bumped up in my next predictions video. At the Philadelphia Film Festival, which I attended briefly these past couple weeks, Robot Dreams actually took home an honorable mention award for Best Film at the festival, which is pretty big. And it looks very intriguing. So be on the lookout for Robot Dreams. Definitely in the conversation. But anyway, Across the Spider-Verse, definitely taking this. Most likely moving on. Moving on from there is international feature. Let me get my logo out of here. Zone of Interest is number one. As weird and as experimental as that film is, it is critically acclaimed. One of the most critically acclaimed films of the year. UK has submitted it for international feature, so I mean, I don't know if Glazer has been nominated in this category or really in any category, as far as I know. So, but I do have a good feeling that it could get in, and if it does get in, it's probably going to win. Maybe there will be another pick where the Academy thinks it's a little too experimental, a little too out there, not a feel-good movie whatsoever. So maybe they'll give it to a film like Perfect Days or About Dry Grasses or even The Taste of Things. We'll just have to see. Speaking of those films, About Dry Grasses, very critically acclaimed film out of Cannes Film Festival, I believe. 3-hour runtime, very captivating drama. Don't know too much about it, but it did win Best Actress at Cannes Film Festival, I believe. But other than that, that could be very well in the conversation here. Perfect Days definitely seems like a film that could be up the Academy's alley. Japan gets nominated quite a bit. I've heard great things about it. I really want to see it. I think that's going to be in the top 5 for here on out. The Taste of Things, same kind of situation. Won Best Director at Cannes, so that's a good win for that. Io Capitano, a.k.a. The Captain, is the Italy submission. Haven't heard a lot about it. I hear it's pretty good. It's people are starting to see it. I have that in my 5 just because I don't really know where else to put anything else. I have The Settlers from Chile, which El Conde was the film that I had in previously, but Chile submitted The Settlers instead, so I do have that in. Fallen Leaves, Beatrice Lounge, Totem is a new addition, and I've heard great things about Totem, so I think in my next predictions video, I think that one might get shot up at least 1 or 2 pegs. So, but anyway, I have The Zone of Interest at number 1. I think it might be taking it. I think it's well deserved. I haven't seen the film, but from what I've heard, I think it is one of the biggest achievements in film of the year. So, give credit where it's due. Moving on from there is cinematography. I have Hoyt van Hoytema winning for Oppenheimer. Very, very well deserved. The IMAX man himself was snubbed for Nope last year, which I am not happy about that still. So, makeup nomination, makeup win, very possible. Cinematography in that film is immaculate. And a technical achievement. So, and Oppenheimer's going to kill it. We all know Oppie's going to kill it at the Academy Awards next year. And this is one of the tech categories I am very confident that it will win in. So, I have that at number 1. Rodrigo Prieto for Killers of the Flower Moon is at number 2. Very solid cinematography in that film. Beautiful shots in that film. Poor Things, Robbie Ryan. I believe Robbie Ryan was nominated for The Favorite, but I'm not quite sure. I think he was. He hasn't won. So, yeah. I mean, that movie looks incredibly well crafted and well shot. Very jarring visually, so of course I got that in. Poor Things is going to be the juggernaut that it is. Of course, it's going to be here. Next, I have Saltburn by Linus Sandgren, our boy Linus Sandgren, who was also snubbed last year for Babylon, egregiously. He did win for La La Land all those years back. Very well deserved. Excellent cinematographer. One of my favorites working in the field. In fact, I did see Saltburn a few nights ago at the film festival in Philadelphia. I'm going to hold my thoughts on the film until my quickie review, which is going to be coming out here probably in the next week or so. I will say my favorite aspect of that film is the cinematography. That Saltburn is is an immaculately well crafted and well shot film. Some shots in this film just took my breath away, and really made me like, oh my God, what? How did they come up with that? Really cool. Really, really slick and sleek camera work in this film, for sure. The close-ups, the composition, it's just great. And I really hope it gets in. I think it will get in. It's probably Saltburn's best shot at a nomination, if I'm being honest. It's a weird movie. So yeah, I think it has a shot at getting in. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what they think about it. And then at number 5 is kind of up in the air. Much like a lot of these categories, that 5th slot is a little shaky, so I have Maestro for now. I also saw Maestro at the film festival. Also an immaculately well shot film. Not too familiar with Matthew Libatique's work, but it looks beautiful. It's a beautiful looking movie. There's some shots in this movie that are, like this. There's certain stills in this movie that are artistic for sure. So I really hope that gets in. I think that could make the cut. Next up, the unclear portion of my list here, the below the line portion. Color Purple. Look, I don't know how this film's gonna do. I don't know what it's gonna pull off. I don't know. I have it at number 6 for now. I mean, it looks fine. It looks like it's pretty well shot. Musicals, I'm not sure how much luck they have in getting nominated. I don't know. We'll see. The Killer and Ferrari, same cinematographer. I hear the cinematography work in both of those films are very solid, so I do have that in the top 10. Zone of Interest I have actually in. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I mean, the Zone of Interest definitely, I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer. It's a very fly-on-the-wall type of movie where it's kind of very sterile-looking, static, calculated. Where am I going with this? The placements of the camera are very calculated, much to the point where that is like it's a character unto itself. Like one of the characters in the film is us as the cameras that are placed. What's the word I'm looking for? Not calculated, but strategically placed cameras in the film, in this family's home. Has a lot to do with the film's message and presentation. So maybe that could get in. I don't know. I have it in my top 10. And Napoleon, I really don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to think about Napoleon. If that's going to be a technical achievement or not. Ridley Scott, I wish you the best of luck. You haven't had a lot of it these past years, so God bless. Let us pray for him. But yeah, Oppie's going to get this one, I think. I think Oppie's got this in the bag. Moving on from there is Best Costume Design. Strong category this year. But I think Barbie is most likely taking this. There are some showcase moments in the film where it actually literally shows us like certain like outfits that Ken wears and Barbie wears, and it's very, very strong. Very strong. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't win. It's got to at least get a nomination. If it doesn't get a nomination, I'll walk out of the room, bro. And I'm not even that movie's biggest fan. But the costume work in that film is like, that's half the film, in my opinion. I mean, it's about dolls, man. But anyway, moving on. Barbie's winning, in my opinion. Poor Things, it's definitely going to happen. Some of the outfits in that film are stunningly gorgeous, very eclectic, That would be the most that would be the most accurate word I can describe the costume work in that film. So that is definitely in strong as a contender. Strong as a contender as Poor Things is. Killers of the Flower Moon, wonderful costume work in that film. I have seen it, and I do concur that the costume work is excellent. Um, Maestro, Mark Bridges, has been nominated many times before, I believe. Um, that could, I mean, a period. Throw in a period film, man. Throw in a period film. Call it a day. Number 4, Maestro. Oppenheimer, another period film. I don't know. Again, that 5th slot could go to Oppenheimer. Who knows? Maybe it can go to Napoleon, or The Color Purple, or even Priscilla. I've heard. I mean, I haven't seen the film, but the costume work for Priscilla looks great. Asteroid City's costume work is great because it kind of shifts between the 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 different aspects of that. I don't want to give the film away, but there's different like settings of that film that are very specific, and the costume work is very very solid as along with the production design. So that's just barely making my top 10. And Wonka, I don't even know, man. It's Wonka. What else can I say? Sure, throw it in. But Barbie is probably going to get this one. Moving on. After that, we got editing. Get costume design out of here. Yeah, I think Oppie's got this one. I mean, for right now, I mean, I do have screenplay going to Killers instead of Oppie. But if I was gonna slide another tech win to Oppie, it would be for editing. The editing in that film almost makes the movie. Excellently crafted and well put together. But in a close second, I do have Thelma Schoonmaker for Killers of the Flower Moon, who continues to wow us with her magic. She's a veteran. She's worked on literally every single Scorsese film. Multiple nominations, multiple wins, from what I remember. She could very well upset here, for sure. Very well deserved, because it's a 3.5-hour movie. That's a drama. Doesn't have a lot of like action per se. There's some action, but not much. It's very well paced. Sure, it's a very long movie. Sometimes you feel the length, but it's beautifully weaved and woven together by Thelma. So a nomination is pretty much in the bag here, and a possible win. Poor Things, definitely in the top 3 Best Picture frontrunners. So I do have that in editing as well. Maestro, I have in for editing. The editing in that film is very, very good, and the overall direction is immaculate, Mr. Cooper. So I do have that in as well, and then I have the holdovers in, which is number 4 in my Best Picture predictions, I believe. I got that in. Below the line, I have Ferrari. The Academy for some reason likes fast vroom vroom car movies. And they have in the past nominated films like that in editing, and some of them have even won, a la Ford v Ferrari. So sure, I have that, just barely not making the cut. Saltburn I have in. Not sure if it can happen, but I got in my top 10. Past Lives, Outside Shot. I'm just gonna leave it at number 8 for now. Anatomy of a Fall. Another very immaculately well-crafted film from what I hear, so I got that one in as well. And by the way, I forgot to mention, Anatomy of a Fall was not submitted by France as the international feature pick. That's why you didn't see it in my international feature predictions. That was number 1, but they selected Taste of Things. But I'm still very confident, judging by the film's reception, the love for the film. I think it's going to get nominated elsewhere, like in Best Picture, like in editing. hopefully an actress as well in screenplay. So I have it not making the cut, but still in the top 10 for editing. And then The Killer and Barbie are just kind of like there at the bottom of the list for whatever reason. I'm not sure. I don't know how to justify those, but in any case, Oppie, Killers, definitely the top two, duking it out. And then Poor Things up there as well. Some of those other Best Picture contenders. So, moving on from editing is Best Makeup. Maestro's winning this. If you've seen Maestro, and if you've seen the trailer, screenshots, bro, the makeup job on Cooper and company, top notch. Top notch. And Cooper is going to be nominated for actor, so that correlation is going to be locked and loaded and ready to be fired. And, might I add, if Maestro wins makeup, then Cooper, man, I think you got this, buddy. Who knows what's going to happen with some of these precursors, but Maestro is absolutely winning this. If it does, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably walk outside, lay down on my front lawn for 30 minutes, 30 degrees out, as just a challenge. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, Maestro's winning. Poor Things, Barbie, definitely makes sense to be in the top, in the top 5 here. Look at Willem Dafoe. Look at Emma Stone. I mean, Mark Ruffalo. The makeup job is fantastic. Same with Barbie. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Throw, a sci-fi blockbuster in there for good measure. Great makeup work in those films. Oppenheimer, I just have in just because, sometimes they want to nominate a period movie as well. If not, maybe Napoleon, maybe Priscilla, maybe Golda. We'll have to keep an eye out on Dom Helen Mirren, who has some very prominent prosthetics in that film, as well as A Different Man, which is kind of at the bottom of the list here. I'm not even sure if that movie's even coming out. It's about the Elephant Man, John Merrick, whatever his name is. Unrecognizable Sebastian Stan. Got to keep him in the top 10 just in case. But Maestro, congratulations on your Oscar. Pretty bold of me to say, but that's what I'm saying. Grr. So, here we go. Moving on from there is production design. We got a few more categories here. Production design. Barbie, look at there was a global shortage of pink paint, people. A global shortage of pink paint. At least give him an Oscar nom for that, for the effort. And the marketing efforts, for sure, of that film. And of course, the production design in the film is very solid. When I saw Barbie, I will never forget the moment when Ken, I guess, is injured in the beginning of the film, when he tries to dive into the water and he goes, whoa, and then the doctors come and they have that ambulance, EMT, whatever, medic car that opens up into this dollhouse-esque display. And there are a bunch of girls that sat behind me that went, oh my God, bro. You know that if you get audible reactions just from production design, just a small portion of the production design of the film, it's strong. It's really, really strong. This film has got very strong production design. It's all production design. If they're in the doll world, some of the movies in LA and some of the movies in the Barbie universe, that Barbie universe is they built that shit. Bro, it's probably gonna win. It's probably gonna win. Giving it a run for its money though is Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers' production design is very, very solid. The Osage town that they built for the film is very impressive, for sure. And some of the set pieces as well are great. Same with Oppenheimer, but not quite on the level of Killers. Sure, they built that town in Oppenheimer, or the what's it called? The place where they conduct the Manhattan Project, all the research, and where they built the test, the Trinity test. The name of it is escaping me right now. I forget. It's been a while since I've seen Oppenheimer. But anyway, that whole town is impressive, nonetheless. But it's not very prominent. In the film, you kind of just see glimpses of it here and there, and then it cuts to the proceedings, and cuts to this place and it cuts to there. It's not like, I don't know. There's not really any scenes where it's like, whoa, holy shit, look at this production design. So I don't know. But then again, Oppenheimer's going to be a juggernaut, so maybe it'll get nominated. For the love of God, The Power of the Dog was nominated in production design, and that was like a couple buildings. I mean, and maybe that one town that they went to for one or two scenes. So, who knows? Maybe it'll get in, but we'll see. Poor Things production design looks pretty insane. Very fantastical. Very sci-fi, very fantasy, steampunk-esque structures that they've built for that film. So, yeah, for sure, that can probably get in. And then for number 5, I have Saltburn, just because some of the party sequences and party set pieces at the actual place of Saltburn in the film is pretty striking. And of course, Saltburn itself, the building itself, I'm sure that was a lot of production design work there. We got the whatever, the foliage maze or whatever you call that could be factored in as well. I have that at that shaky number 5 spot, so we'll see. I got The Color Purple just barely missing. I got Asteroid City just barely missing. I mean, Asteroid City is more than worthy of a nomination in production design. For me, that is definitely top 3 production design achievements of the year. That's even including Barbie and Killers and Oppie. But Wes Anderson hasn't had the best of luck since Grand Budapest Hotel, so we'll see. Wonka, I don't know. We'll see how that fares when that comes out. I feel like Wonka's gonna be a dud, man. I just got this feeling that it's just gonna. We haven't had a dud this year. Like, every movie that has come out this year has been at least above average to great. We haven't had like a surprise dud or like something that is anticipated but it ends up being pretty bad or below average. Maybe Wonka is that film. Maybe The Color Purple is that film. Maybe Napoleon is that film. I mean, the closest thing to that, I believe, would be Ferrari, which I hear people say is good, but not like great, I guess. Michael Mann has definitely done better in the past. So I don't know. I'm not sure. So speaking of all the 3 of those films, they are all at that the bottom of that list there. So moving on from there. Barbie, congratulations on your win. For now. Let's move on. Original score. It's got to be Ludwig. It's got to be Oppie. If Oppenheimer doesn't win score, I don't know what I do with myself. I really don't know. I think I would. I don't know. I think I would take a bag of pizza rolls in my freezer, which I will no doubt have in my freezer by the time the Oscars roll around. I will take that bag of pizza rolls and I will go out into my front lawn. I will bury them in my front lawn. I'm obviously not gonna do that, but I'm just as a hypothetical. I mean, I will do something drastic if this does not win score. Not only get in, it's gonna get in the score. I mean, if it gets in the score, I'm shutting this channel down, bro. But if it doesn't win score, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And this, I mean, they can't do Babylon dirty like they did last year, and then do Oppie dirty this year, bro. I mean, sure, I understood that, as shitty as it was, I understood why Babylon didn't win score. There were some stats that were going against it. Babylon had a lot of haters, including people in the Academy. You know, it's tragic. It really is tragic that it didn't win score. But Oppenheimer's different, man. Not only is it very, very well respected and praised, and critically lauded. The score in Oppenheimer, I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now. It is a work. It is an achievement. It is an absolute achievement. It is the driving force of that film. Call it the editing. Call it Cillian Murphy's performance. Call it the screenplay. All fantastic elements of that film. The strongest driving force of that film, in my opinion, is the musical score by Ludwig Göransson. Just a masterpiece of a musical score. So it's gotta be winning. It's gotta be winning. Prove me wrong. Just prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Let's discuss. Okay, so anyway. At number 2, you're probably going to be like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Thomas Newman, man. Thomas Newman's been nominated so many times. Not only that, Elemental, I hear, has a great score. Is that enough for it to get into a nomination? No, I don't see a lot of people predicting Elemental for score. Maybe I'm right. Like, prove me wrong there. I mean, don't try to prove me wrong about the Oppenheimer score. Try to convince me that Elemental is not getting in the score. Sure, they don't want to give Thomas Newman an Oscar. He hasn't won a single Oscar. He's been nominated at least a dozen times from what I remember. Sure you can get in. Sure. I mean, sure, Elemental's not a front runner in animated feature. Should that matter? Is that a stat? Is that a long stat that I'm not seeing or something? I don't know. I have it at number 2. Call me crazy. I have it at number 2. Maybe something will happen and some stars will align and some stats will, some fog will dissipate for me to see some stats that I didn't see before, and then I'll circle back on this video and be like, James, you idiot. Why did you put Elemental out of all movies at number 2? You moron. But anyway, I digress. That's at number 2. Sue me. Killers of the Flower Moon. The score by the late, great Robbie Robertson. His last score before he ultimately passed a couple months ago. Killers of the Flower Moon is dedicated to him and his legacy. So that's pretty big. If Killers is going to be a big contender as it is, that there's going to be a lot of eyes and ears on Killers' composer Robbie Robertson and its score respectively. What a sentence. Yeah, I think it could happen. The score is solid. The score is very good. There's in particular there's one song near the beginning of the film that is so good. And the rest of the movie, it does have music, but it's like very understated and kind of like a heartbeat kind of thing underneath all of the drama and all of the the sequences and everything. It's kind of just like this don't goody don't. That's essentially all the score is. With some minor embellishments here and there over top, and the banger tune in the beginning of the film. And that's pretty much it. So I don't know if that's going to be enough. Hopefully it's going to be enough, but I mean, at least as a posthumous nomination, I think it should still happen. So I do have it at number 3. And I'd be happy if it gets in. Probably not going to win. Definitely not going to win. But, yeah, that's number 3 for now. I'm going out on a limb here. I got Past Lives in for score. Why not? I don't really have a reason behind this. I just feel like the Academy might pick that score out and be like, this one's cool. They did it with Everything Everywhere. And yes, Past Lives is not Everything Everywhere as far as, at least right now. Everything Everywhere, that momentum that movie came out in February, March. A year before the Oscars. And at the Oscars and around the Oscars, that's when the love and momentum for Everything Everywhere really took off. And Poor Things is also an A24 film. So maybe something can happen, you know? Maybe something can happen. And sometimes they do like to nominate some of these more not really experimental, but more like droney acoustic guitar flavored scores that have a lot of reverb. Folksy kind of score that Past Lives has. I mean, they go for that sometimes. So maybe this year they'll be like, hey, let's give some love to Grizzly Bear. And that would be amazing because that score is so good. So I do have that at number 4. I mean, I might be crazy for that, but we'll see. And look, man, Williams might Williams this year. He Williamsed last year with the Fableman score, and there was 15 minutes of music for that movie. So, sure, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, kind of a dud, if I'm being honest, from what I've heard. And even the music I hear is like typical kind of, John Williams fare. But maybe, I mean, he was nominated for Rise of Skywalker, and that score didn't really stand out from what I heard. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll be like, John Williams, you're 91 years old, you're still making music. Bam. Who knows? I got it at number 5. Kill me. Sue me. Don't kill me. So below the line, we have The Killer, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross. I don't think they've been nominated since Soul. Could be wrong there. I know that they won for Soul alongside John Batiste. So I don't know. I've heard The Killer has some very good music. So we'll see. Have that below the line. Poor Things I have below the line. I hear that score is definitely more quirky and electronic based. If Poor Things is going to be another juggernaut, sure, it could have a shot at getting a nomination, but, kind of a no-name composer, but who also was a no-name composer, as far as, the Academy and the film industry is concerned? Son Lux. Got nominated for Everything Everywhere last year. Surprise nom. Maybe it can happen with another film this year, like Poor Things. So I definitely have it in my top 10. The Boy and the Heron, scored by Joe Hisaishi, which has never gotten an Oscar nomination before. One of the most beloved Japanese composers of his generation. He's scored most Ghibli films, from what I know. And I've heard the score in this film is immaculate. So, I don't know. Could it happen? I got in my top 10. Martin Phipps, did I misspell that? I probably did. For Napoleon, sure. Daniel Pemberton, Ferrari, sure. I've heard those scores are, well, I don't even know anything about the Napoleon score, so I don't even know why I have that in. And Daniel Pemberton, he's been around the block. Ferrari, I don't know, man. Those are just the 2 spots of the list that I don't have a lot of things to talk about. Can't really justify why they're there. They're just there. Moving on. Congratulations, Ludwig, on your Oscar. Moving on from there is Best Sound. Oppie's going to win this one as well, in my opinion. Immaculate sound work in Oppenheimer. I really don't know what else to say. If you've seen the film, you just know what I'm talking about. Okay? It is just the technical achievement of the year. I think it's going to win. I think it's got this. Ferrari, I hear the sound work is strangely hit or miss. But when it hits, it hits. And like I said about Vroom Vroom Fast Cars movies, the Academy eats that up. So maybe that can happen. Got it in my top 5. Got it number 2 for now. Killers of the Flower Moon. Very solid sound work. Very solid sound work for sure. Especially during the end credits. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. The Color Purple, sure. I don't know. Just throw that in there. Maestro, very, very good sound work. a lot of Leonard Bernstein's music is represented in that film, as well as other composers like Mahler. So that sound work is very, very well done. The mixing is very well done when it kind of transitions between those big bombastic musical scenes and the more quiet and delicate emotional scenes. Very good work. So I see that getting in. The Killer, I hear, has some great sound work as well. So I have that just barely not making the cut. Napoleon, still up in the air. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, excellent sound work in that film, but just because I don't have it in picture anymore, I don't have it in screenplay and some of these other categories, sure, it's going to win an animated feature, but the chances of other shots at other categories are kind of dwindling as of now, so I don't think it's going to happen as deserving as it is. Don't see it happening. Mission Impossible, I don't know. I don't think it's ever been nominated, any of those films, the Mission Impossible films, in sound. If I'm wrong, sue me. But I still got it in my top 10. I got to throw in the Zone of Interest in there just because I hear the sound work is crucial to the effectiveness of that film. All I will say is that what you see in the film is a familial drama, and what you hear is a straight-up horror movie. Mic drop. So yeah, an achievement in sound, that film, for sure. Absolutely. That would be an amazing sound nomination. Don't know if it's going to happen, but it'll be great. Maybe I should bump that one up. John Wick Chapter 4, don't think it's going to happen. Very well deserved. Very good sound work in that film. Don't think it's going to happen. So, Oppie, congratulations. Moving on. Last category, folks. Here we are. We're not doing the documentary short and the animated short and the live action short. And documentary for that matter, because we don't know a lot. Maybe next month I'll do my my first predictions for the documentary category because there's been some developments there. But for now, the last category that we're covering is visual effects. The Creator, I have at number 1. Really beautiful looking movie. Really immaculate visual effects in that movie with a surprisingly small budget, a la Ex Machina, but definitely more going on in this movie than Ex Machina, for sure. I think it's the biggest contender for visual effects this year. Maybe Guardians has a shot at maybe upsetting, maybe something else, maybe even Spider-Man can pull through and come back with an animated film visual effects nomination, a la Kubo and the Two Strings. Rebel Moon, Little Mermaid, D&D, I don't know. Outside shots, those movies. But Oppenheimer, man, you gotta keep an eye on Oppenheimer, man. You gotta keep an eye. You gotta keep an eye on Oppenheimer. Yes, the visual effects in Oppenheimer are practical, 100% practical visual effects. No CGI whatsoever. Maybe there's a little tiny bit here and there for like touch-ups and everything, but as far as the bomb, the Trinity test sequences, everything else, the lighting, the scientific transfigurations that come up on the screen every now and again, those are all practical effects. Very impressive. But practical effects, ever since the onset of CGI, the Academy has typically been like, those are what we go for. CGI, impressive computer-generated effects are what we go for. And it's been much less and less practical effects. But I don't know, man. It's very impressive, and maybe Oppenheimer can break that stat. So I have it at number 2. I don't have it winning. Some people do have it winning. It's come a long way because a lot of people didn't even have it in their 5 for the longest time. So I do have it at number 2. And I hope it makes it in because I think it's very well deserved. For my money, I would even have it winning. But that CGI correlation is very strong. So I do have the Creator winning with an Oppenheimer close second place. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to call it there. That is my predictions video, my last predictions video for the month of October 2023. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a long month. It's been a lot. I've had a lot going on this channel and outside of this channel. So thanks for sticking with me. Got a couple videos in the works. I've been seeing some films ahead of schedule, which is great for me. Stay tuned for some quickie reviews coming out for Maestro and Saltburn, as well as some new predictions videos already coming probably around Thanksgiving. Maybe Thanksgiving going into December. I'll be making another predictions video. And there's some other movies that are coming out that I am definitely keeping my eye on. Going to be seeing, hopefully, Anatomy of a Fall, American Fiction, Poor Things. I'll definitely be seeing those within the coming months here. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. And let's hope those actors get their deal with AMPTP very soon, so this industry can get back on track. So, without further ado, y'all have a good night. Thank you so much for watching, and Oscar Guy is out.